Welcome back, everybody. I think this will be the fourth in our Dynaco series. I'm going to start putting these things together today, but before I got started on that, I thought I would show you what I'm doing here. These little LED light strips, you get a pack of 4 of these. They're made for under cabinet lighting, like in your kitchen or whatnot, but you can get a pack of 4 for about $68 with the controls and everything. As you can see up under my bench here, that's what I've been using for my bench lighting all along, but I've been having people tell me, hey, I need some more lighting, so I'm installing, as you can see here, in parallel with the ones I had, a second strip, and these kind of things kind of daisy chain together with these little connectors, and you just kind of end up mounting them up here with the two-sided tape you can see here that comes with them. I'm putting on them. Really neat little units, and a great way to make under cabinet lighting for those building a workbench. And the one other thing I thought I'd show you, I bought this pretty heavy duty camera mount here. Swivels in all directions, got a piece that locks onto the camera. It's heavy duty metal. Hopefully this will help with my videos going forward, because I'll have a nice little mount. And I mounted it on this long steel bar here that I can slide in and out here to adjust depth and whatnot. So pretty excited about that, but let's get back to the topic at hand, which is the Dynaco Mark IIIs. Okay, first and foremost, got the new camera mounted up here. I think I'm liking how this is working out. Yeah, I got one of the new chassis out of the box. As you can see here, these things are beautiful. And they're reflecting the light like crazy, but one thing I'll say, we're going to do 1 amp at a time. I think trying to build 2 amps in parallel at the same time can just get a little confusing, and you know, you can get a little out of sorts. And so I think better off building one, get it right, get it sounding good, and then move to the second amp. And this is something I picked up along the way at a Hamfest. It's an original Dynaco Mark III manual. So you can see here how this thing looks laid out underneath. We're going to go through now and actually follow this kit manual to basically build this thing. There's certainly things in this manual that we will not be doing, like mounting a selenium rectifier. All the rectification's going to take place, you know, outside of that. The quadruple section electrolytic capacitor. We've got the board here with the electrolytic capacitors, etc. So, but yeah, we're basically going to go through here and build this thing the way it says, and then we'll have to be substituting in along the way where we're swapping out parts and whatnot. But beauty of these manuals, you know, it comes with a really nice little layout here. Shows you how everything should be wired. You know, getting the tube sockets in is going to be the first thing I do. I may not follow this manual exactly step by step, but we're going to go ahead and start getting all the hardware mounted on these chassis at this point in time. Okay, starting to mount these things. One thing you want to notice is all tube sockets have a key, octal tube sockets here. So, you know, it does matter which way you put these in, whether it's this way or turned around this way. And if you pull out this handy dandy little wiring diagram kit here that's folded up in the back of the original manual, you can see here that the keyholes are all pointing in this direction. With the PC board here, it kind of has them going in this direction. So makes it really easy to lay these things in here just like they're going to need to go. So we'll end up with 3 of them here like this. We will not end up mounting anything right here, because that's the old electrolytic multi-section capacitor. The other thing I'll show you, you know, these things were originally mounted with some little kind of tin coated screws, but I like to, when I'm building amplifiers, and I've got a good selection here, as you can see in a box here, but I like to use like lock washers. As you can see, they've got the little built-in lock washer onto the nut. I get all this stuff from the Nutty company, but these are 4-40s, and then I've got a whole selection of black panhead screws, or not panhead, but hex head screws here that I can use to kind of mount into those into those sockets right here, and that's what I'll use to mount these things down with. They really look good, the black does, versus the old kind of chrome looking screws that typically were used back in the day. But we're going to get a couple of these mounted up, and it's just as simple as coming from the top side and screwing these things in. Okay, we've got them mounted in now, and I'm just using a little quarter-inch hex head to tighten them down. But take a look at those screws; they look great. They're just kind of black, flat against the surface there. I've also mounted the one on the front here. Boy, your fingerprints make make nice little space, but that just looks clean. I like them so much better. And these things, while they're not exactly cheap, I think they're worth the money that the value they bring in making an amplifier just look really, really good. Alright, as you can see, we've got the input terminal jack mounted now. Look, stuff just mounts in great. You can see the back sides here. And now we're doing the terminal strips, and if you'll notice here on the original, kind of shows the terminal strip here, 4 terminals. If you'll remember, we were going to replace that with a terminal strip here that basically just has 2 outputs on the output for banana jacks, which is a much cleaner look. And this little kit here that we bought that does that, it tells you exactly how to mount this against the chassis and all the pieces and components where each of the washers go and whatnot. So, going to get those mounted up. Okay, let me show you how I mounted these. So, little hex head screws on the outside. I actually put the terminal board on the inside of this hole. So you could mount it on the outside, but then you start covering up the lettering here. So I mounted it on the inside here, as you can see. And you also have kind of, if you'll notice right here, there's a terminal strip that it comes in a little kit. And you mount it to the side right here using one of the lugs. It says it doesn't matter which side. So you kind of have the hex head nut here with the lock washer on each side. You end up with the black piece right here, and then you mount your screws, and it walks you through on this little paper right here exactly what order to put everything in. But when you get done, it's nice and clean looking. The reason you got to have these 2 terminal strips here, if you'll remember, the original was a 4 terminal strip thing here, common 4 ohm, 8 ohm, 16 ohm. We're just going to do the 8 ohm taps right here. But you need a place to kind of tie off the 16 ohm because the 16 ohm is also where the wire connects that does the negative feedback in this circuit. And you'll want a place to kind of terminate and put the 8 ohm in case you ever, the 4 ohm in case you ever want to use it later down the road. You could just unsolder the 8 ohm and solder the 4 ohm and put it back on, etc. Okay, we're going to mount the power strip, this power switch. If you'll notice, one end of this has 2 lugs on it and the other end has no lug. You're going to want to put the end with the 2 lugs towards the chassis on the inside here. That way when you mount it, that's actually in the on position as it's labeled right here. And then when you turn it down, it goes to the off position. But if you kind of get that backwards, you'll have to end up rewiring your switch, or the labeling here won't match up properly. Okay, at this point we got the power switch mounted in here. Got the, oh yeah, by the way, when you're mounting these, always screw these things out. Otherwise you risk not pulling the studs all the way down in the way they need to. And you can tighten them down once you get the base part mounted. Got those mounted, got the input here, you can see. Check it out. Got the board mounted here, and if you notice, like right here, it's labeled pin 11 right here. And if you'll notice on this diagram, it's the same layout, pin 10, pin 11, etc. So this board basically has the same connections as the original factory board. And if you'll notice, 11 goes right here near the input socket. So that helped me figure out which end of the board to mount where. Got that mounted in there. Got the 10K ohm potentiometer mounted in here with the lugs pointed this direction the way they should be. and as you can see here, it's mounted on top. Just looking at where these capacitor boards mount, and they actually end up, once we get the transformers in here, you've got this hole right here and this slot right here that the bolts for the transformers will end up going into, and these things will actually go on top of that and mount underneath the chassis like this right here. So you actually won't see this from the outside of the amp. The top side of the amp will end up looking like that, and we got to go get the transformers and put them together and get them on here. But you start to get the gist of how this is all going to lay out and look when it's all said and done. And you gotta love stainless steel. It's just like my refrigerator. Constantly wiping our fingerprints off of it, but boy, when you polish them up and whatnot, they really do look good. Okay, up next here I have taken the choke out of one of the old amplifier chassis, and I kind of took it to the grinding wheel, the wire brush, and cleaned it up a little bit. It had a little bit of rust and whatnot on it, and but we've got it all cleaned up now, ready to mount in this, and this is where my frustrating part comes. I had ordered a bunch of these are 832 by 3/8 inch, the same button head little screws, and if you notice when they mount down in here, they kind of fit perfectly right there. They look great. It's the right size for the hole, everything. But somehow they shipped me 10-24 nuts to go with them, and so I've got a mixed match of nuts and screws now. So I'm going to have to contact the company I ordered these from a couple weeks ago and get them to send me some new nuts. And I'm going to see if I can go out to Lowe's or somewhere today in the meantime and find an 832 here to kind of match up with this, because I'm kind of dead in the water, because I need these same nuts or same bolts here to mount the transformers. As you can see, they go right there in the little transformer slots as well. So they're the right nuts. I just need the matching. The right screws need the matching nuts to go with them. So I'm going to pause the video right here. You get the gist of where we're headed with it. We'll make this part 4. Things looking really good, other than the fingerprints that are notorious with stainless steel. The good thing is, once you get the amp built, you can use a little bit of a just a little polishing cloth like this and polish the whole thing up, and then let it kind of sit there and play and make some beautiful music. So stay tuned for section 5. We'll keep going once we get some some screws to mount some more components with. I've mounted everything I could with these smaller screws at this point in time. Thanks everybody. Stay tuned.